Welcome, ladies and gents, to ECS Europe. Some of the best teams from the European region have come a long way, and we're at the playoffs already. And of course, these teams will be fighting for a place in the finals at the Wembley Arena just a month away, 25th and the 26th of June. You can still get your tickets at wembley.csgoli.com for as little as $12.99 for both days. Now, coming up today, of course, we have the losers bracket match, which will be NiP versus FaZe, and then we have mousesports versus Fnatic coming up straight away afterwards. And I mean, this is pretty interesting. I don't know if we expect things to go quite as they did. Obviously, NiP last couple of days looking a little bit shaky. Can they recover, do you guys think? Do you think they're going to be able to pull this out against FaZe?
I think they have a good chance. I think that their first match was, I think their last league match was against Mouse, if I'm not mistaken. But obviously, Fnatic had a very strong showing. They said publicly that it's their best performance they've had since Wenton joined the team, so they're super happy with that. Do they have a chance against FaZe? I think they do. I think it's going to be a very competitive match.
I agree. When these two teams met in regular season, FaZe actually beat NiP 2-1, which was an upset, in my opinion. But we have to remember that in that particular game, FaZe won all of the pistols. And even with that, we had a really close match. And I have to say that FaZe really stepped up, both as a team and individually. Players like Rain, aizy, Fox at different points in the game really showed up, and that's what gave the FaZe the upper hand.
We're going to take a quick look at the playoff bracket now, just to recap everything, get a good visual and the overlay of what has been happening, as we just mentioned. NiP faltering to Fnatic, but again, Fnatic on top form. I mean, they say it. I mean, I definitely felt it as well. That was a really great performance from them, despite maybe NiP not being at full strength. And mousesports and FaZe, definitely a bit of a crazy matchup. But mousesports, I feel like generally overall, they're the more solid team. So things going more or less, I would say, kind of as expected, as it is always a little bit hard to predict when it's the Swedish derby. I mean, a domestic matchup in general, it can be quite hard to predict. And we're left with two great matchups here, both best of threes today, to see who will become closer, or who will get closer to the Wembley finals in just a month's time. So it's time for the Score Esports pre-game breakdown. We've got Janko here to deliver the goods.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, these two teams played each other recently in the league stage. So what's different now is that NiP actually, who picked Cash in that best of three, now decided to pick Cobblestone, because they've lost Cash a couple of times. I think probably the first time they lost it was against FaZe, then they lost it against Fnatic as well. So maybe not too confident on it as of right now. FaZe still went for their Mirage pick, and the decider now will be Cash. So it's a bit of a different map pool. Cobble is in there, and I feel that that's good for NiP, because you never want to, there's this tendency, right? If you play the teams on the same map and you already beat them on, then that team is gonna, study the maps much harder, and probably they're gonna find a way to counter you, and you're not gonna think about them as much because you're the team who won, right? So I think this is good from NiP. Cobble is not a map that FaZe plays all that much. Sure, it's not probably one of the best maps for NiP either, but I think they're good enough on it to beat FaZe. Also, they need to really, as you mentioned, they were really undisciplined, didn't really look like themselves in a couple of those games, so they definitely need to step up all across the board.
We can get a bit of a visual there of the veto process, and it does look like a pretty exciting series. I mean, to me, it feels like this very well can go the distance. I mean, what are your initial thoughts on this one, Jays? We are starting quite quickly, so you'll have to be speedy.
I am hoping for a three-mapper. I think the second map could go either way, but I think that this would be an exciting three maps if it goes to three maps. I can't see NiP losing to FaZe on Cobblestone, which we're about to see. So yeah, I think Cash, as Janko said, NiP haven't had the greatest of successes on Cash recently, so we will see what happens if it gets there. But for now, it will be NiP starting on the T side, the favoured side here on Cobblestone, and it should be a strong side for NiP. And the smoke going down towards the chicken coop, but they're not really committing with the nades here. Rain with a great start though, 2 frags for him, looking for Xizt as well, but Friberg will take down Fox in the meantime. So a strong defence so far from FaZe, 4 versus 2, Forest and Xizt remain. Xizt down from the plateau, leaving Forest alone. getting tagged, getting fragged. Good start for FaZe, perfect start. CT side. Obviously, we've seen with the Cobblestones that we've casted recently that when the CTs lose the pistol, things tend to go horribly for the first 7 to 8 rounds.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that FaZe were able to get so deep actually in this tournament is that, or rather, why NiP actually didn't get to that top 2 spot is because they had a matchup against FaZe. FaZe, a team that you would expect NiP to win, the majority of the time in a best of 3. Because their map was so deep, but they lost every pistol round. NiP couldn't win a pistol round against FaZe, and the trend would continue here. That would be, well, 7 of 7 pistol rounds lost for NiP against FaZe in the last few days. So we have Fox here ready to play against the force buy of NiP, and this is something we're seeing out of NiP against teams like FaZe. You won't see it as much when they're playing a team like Astralis, but they believe that they can get more edges with the force buy, do more damage, and potentially even win the rounds more consistently against FaZe. So we'll have to see if FaZe can hold here. There's not much in the way of grenades. They're just a smoke on Friberg. And I think that really needs to go down to connect the position. So we'll have to see if Friberg can get that done. Of course, they have to break through this initial setup. It's going to be very hard. There's Fox, who's very close. jkaem as well, who can play the crossfire with a P90 no less. This is going to be very, very hard. But if they can break this initial defense, they have a good chance.
They've got no flashes, however. There is a smoke being deployed. One would presume it's over towards the door. So the crossfire coming in now, but Fox gets taken down. Thought he had a blind spot, but he doesn't. Nothing going the way of the CTs. 2 versus 5 now. And there's only one player over towards A. That was kioShiMa, but now he is mere history. aizy miles away with an M4 to save. And yes, I mean, FaZe, they can go for a crossfire close, but they're still playing into the hands of the one-shots there with the Tech 9s, with the P250s. Look at all the equipment that NiP have taken in that situation. I don't like that play, to be honest. I think it's can offer too much variance. We saw Mousesports playing there yesterday, and they started to back off, but then their plan when they backed off wasn't all that together either. So still maybe some optimal play to be had on the anti-force buy towards A-Long.
I mean, one thing as well, they had information that NiP were in A-Long, but they decided not to. I didn't know that they had. I'm going to assume that they must have had a flash to be used as a pop flash in that situation, because it was such a key. It's such a key spot there, because you don't want to get for the T's to get the drop on you. It'd be very nice if they just get a good flash in there and get a bit of a peek, confirm what's going on, and even then, if you're to lose the setup, at least you know what's going on for sure. But you're very likely going to get some kills there. But with no flash or anything, just waiting, as you said, for the T's, you allow them to get those ranges for much less risk than otherwise they could potentially have. So into the next round, we have NiP with a very nice buy, or very nice selection of guns, and FaZe force buying straight back, which definitely is quite expected. And NiP going with something we see very, very often from them, where they just clear A-Long, and they usually use PyT as the entry fragger in the situation. As we can see again, this time there was actually I don't think I saw a pop flash from them this time for PyT. Maybe I missed it, but NiP will gain forward positioning. And because FaZe have played against them recently, it's quite possible that NiP might try to switch it up and actually try to go back towards B here. But that said, looks like it will be the standard play. As we have seen in the past, NiP will get themselves an A.
Get spots a shadow from jkaem, takes him down, but there are trades coming back for the CTs. Man, disadvantage, but aizy's picked up an M4. And kioShiMa is still in play with the MP7 as well. Down he goes though, leaving kioShiMa alone on the site. Hasn't got the greatest of ranges, but he'll still do good damage to the NiP side. Surviving with 2 players, 2 AKs in tow as well. I mean, bearing in mind they lost a pistol, then won the force. NiP I don't think will be as concerned as they otherwise might be. FaZe, we will see them on more of an eco now. 20 to 2400 in the bag for the players over there. And NiP with a good opportunity to make some money in this round with the 2 SMGs, but also they can kind of lead the charge for the team. Won't be too concerned if they go down with those weapons. Got a few Molotovs onto the T side. I'm guessing that pyth and GetRight have deployed some already. So we should see another good anti-eco here from NiP. We've got 3 CTs over towards the bomb site, kind of poking towards the plateau, trying to get a feel for where NiP may eventually be headed. We've got one of the FaZe players in danger over towards A, and that's going to allow a teammate to rotate, but jkaem's in trouble now. He's blind and he's on fire. Just managing to escape. That could still spread on his position. You never quite know when it's going to do that. but he'll stay alive for now. Minutes on the clock, so NiP have cleaned out all the resources, what little there may have been for FaZe. Now they will charge over towards the bomb site. Again, using those Mac 10s as the initial entry, and f0res to clean up afterwards.
Yeah, so, you know, pretty expected stuff, and it's good to see for NiP, you know, after the rough start. Again, you know, losing the pistol rounds. Someone actually tweeted me recently, because I often say if you lose the or if you win the pistol round, you're not as in good of a position as if you lose the pistol round and win the force buy immediately after. And if they try to dispute that, but I can't see how you can dispute that, because if you lose that pistol round and win the force buy that's following, and you pick up guns and so on, then their economy is completely crushed. So you get the chance to build more money and have better percentages on the next couple rounds, and you have guns which you can save through those rounds. So you just build mad amounts of money.
Make a video, Dan.
Yeah, maybe I should. I thought it's quite simple, but here we go. We've got the push coming down B plat. Get-Right's going for the entries. He's going to go straight in by himself, and we see Get-Right do this a lot, and he's going to get the entry there. That is a big play from Get-Right. He's going to cause quite some shenanigans. And will there be a response in the rotation? Down to 4 now, FaZe.
Fox flash, but still manages to get the kill just in time. You can often see AWPers going for timing picks when they get flash before they move off the position. That is one such example. NiP, a man down at present, trying to figure out where to pick a hole in the defenses of FaZe, who have lost a man themselves. But again, they are one to the good versus NiP here. And Fox holding an angle towards A is a massive problem. Look at this tight angle. I cannot imagine that NiP have a flashbang for that position. It's going to be the rudimentary one, which allows Fox to go for the peak, and he's still not going to move back. Snapping Xizt in the face, finally getting traded, but again, advantage CTs make that 2 now. f0res alone versus 3. He's got time to try and take these duels here. Using Mossad to try and force jkaem from his position and punish them. Nice attempt at tapping. Good patience by f0res, but jkaem will be superior on this occasion. Fox and Co closing the gap. This style of map is such a good map for Fox. If he can hold an angle towards the site, he's probably going to shoot you in the chest.
Yeah, it's one of the things that a lot of teams fear, and really good AWPer on this map, like a really good fast AWPer. For example, your Guardians, your Kenny S's, and Fox is also a very, very fast AWPer. So it's just very hard when you're on those long ranges, and they just hit the shot very quickly. And what can you do? You can't trade them. It's just almost impossible to trade them. So we'll get the play in from NiP straight into the B-bomb side. Lots of grenades all over the place. The set piece comes in. Get-Right looking for the entry. He's going to spray through Chicken Coop. Gets the second player as well. And that is a beautiful couple entries from Get-Right. That's going to give the side to the NiP side. And this will be very hard now for FaZe, of course. Rain will be able to get in there, taking down Get-Right. So perhaps there is something to be done as Rain tries to create opportunity for his team to get in past the choke point. Perhaps the most difficult thing has been done, but will they go for this?
Seems they're still committed. But the clock is running down, and they're kind of too deep to really escape now. That's one of the problems with going for a retake over towards the B-bomb site and Cobble, is that once you kind of get to that boulder position, or past it, it's very hard to decide to run away and make it out alive. You almost never see it there. And I think because of how open the bomb site looks as well, it can be hard to take a decision to go for a save there. Obviously, Rain came in with a quick frag before the bomb went down, and that makes the decision even harder. 3 versus 4 though, a little bit brutal over towards the B-bomb site, but there we go. It's a marginal decision either way, but the loss will put FaZe back on the eco. No money in the bank. Yeah,
so it's going to be time to build bank again for NiP, just recovering some of the losses that they sustained previously. And FaZe already got a couple rounds. I mean, it could be worse, to be honest. But considering that they won the pistol, it's definitely a little bit of a disappointing result for them. But that just goes to show you as well, like I mentioned, the reason why NiP are more likely to buy, or force buy against FaZe. They can convert. They're confident they can convert in those rounds, and they have this time, and it's given them a decisive advantage on map 1. And I wouldn't like to count FaZe out at all at any stage in this series, because their players are freaking good, James. They are good Counter-Strike players.
Nice. I wonder if that's... Well, we'll come back next. we'll come back to that later. That little moment there. 3 CTs left to find. Forrest going to get taken down by the USP. That is a problem. The gun is not retrievable for the time being, but kioShiMa is close to the door. Could go for a bit of a gamble here, and he will get taken down by doing that. NiP making sure they cover their respective guns. Rain, last man standing now. Has the smoke to hide behind, but GetRight's holding the angle. And down he goes. So when Pit went through the arch towards that boost position, he crouched and was not concerned about it whatsoever. And I thought, surely they haven't just forgotten to check. And then you see 2 players jumping in to check the angle after him. So you can see that NiP have studied their angles very, very closely indeed. That was really good to see.
Studying the angles. I feel like we had a we already discussed mathematics enough yesterday.
Don't start with.
Let's not go back there. We talked about
not the
angles.
theorem, Dan.
Not the theorem again. No protractors required for that shot. Rain able to take down Pit, walk straight into the open pretty much. Well, he's covered by by the smoke, but still, really beautiful play. Just to just walk in, get the kill. I mean, when it works like that, he makes it look so easy. But I'm telling you, it is definitely a lot more dangerous than it seems right there to actually just walk into that area and try to kill someone with an eagle. So here goes the play on B plats. NiP trying to save the day and just get themselves into the site quickly now that they've lost a player. But there's 4 here for FaZe, so FaZe have read this correctly.
Yep, they're all on the site, taken with the AK and Kevlar as well. Rain with a nice angle. This is so hard though, it's such an open map and there's so many little places to hide behind. As soon as you start shooting one person, someone's got to pop out from somewhere else. So you have to make sure your teammates are covering all your angles. Friberg being patient with the tapping, but it's just not working out for NiP at the moment. FaZe causing them loads of problems. GetRight and Forrest are susceptible to the deagles here, but the AKs are finally coming back. aizy and kioShiMa remaining. kioShiMa down, leaving aizy alone. Good work, got himself another 1 versus 1. Really good damage done by FaZe in that round. They had some HEs, some pistols. They spent maybe $1,000 each. Not getting the round, but they will maim the economy of NiP. And both teams will now come back for the full buy. Fox on the AWP as well.
So now it's time to get themselves in to the buy. And I would love to see aizy have a repeat performance today. Yesterday he was very, very good. And to see him hit that groove is always very fun. You can say that about a lot of players on the FaZe team. Fox is not going to get lucky there in his first engagement, unable to do much as he's stopped by the grenades. So good diligent play there by NiP, very thorough to deny that. I mean, Fox is pretty known to go for, or what, he's want to go for aggressions like that. He likes to get that in there. He's notorious for it on the next map, which is Cash as well. Notorious for going aggressive on B storage. But this is Cobblestone, and Fox is going to be moving back towards A long. He's not going to have much action in this round, it would seem at this point.
I do think it's important for Fox to occasionally display different locations as well, as he just did there, because if he becomes too predictable, it can be a problem. I mean, it's lucky for them that Inferno is being taken out because of the amount of times I mentioned how easy it is to nade Fox on that map. Like, eventually it was going to happen, but maybe not in this era of that map. 45 seconds left now for NiP to make a play, and FaZe can stack plays over towards the A site because they've got a player deep onto Plateau on B. So NiP running out of time. They've got 2 grenades left on 5 players, and they're both being carried by Pit here, and he's got to go down, so there's no nades left for NiP. They're going to have to go for a raw push into the A bomb site now.
Yeah, they did deposit a player on Connector earlier though, so perhaps that can be their saving grace. And yes, we're going to have the frag there made by GetRight, who is lurking towards Connector. However, there's still players on the side here for FaZe as the AWP and the AK is bear down upon them, but it's Fox to just destroy. But GetRight coming in off of that lurk, trying to get it done here, but it's not going to be the case. FaZe able to take the round there with the excellent defensive play, and as you said, it's quite tough with no grenades. NiP, they played it pretty well overall. I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of rounds look like that, but probably with more nades in the future. Of course, they got a guy into drop zone. That was the mid-round play for them, was get a guy into drop zone. Then rotates the guy that helped him get into that position, rotate him back into the A players, of which there were 4, and then go for the push with the lurker. And looks like we might have a bit of change of pace in this round, James.
Indeed. Shock and awe could be the nature of the beast on this occasion. FaZe positioned well, FaZe to avoid the flashbang. Can't avoid the headshot though. Rain answering back, get right taken down in the lurk, but Friberg's waiting for him. Rain, I don't know if he heard a footstep there, but he knows it's suicide for him to push through that smoke. So, bombs down, post-plant situation. FaZe half the score of NiP at the moment, and they are running out of members as well. kioShiMa close to the boulder, and again, it's that choke point around the door. Rain though taking down Friberg, so now there's opportunity, but it's still going to be a gamble to push through the door here. Forest taking Rain down on an off angle, and indeed, Fox cannot push through the door on this occasion. The best he could do while Rain was alive up to that time was probably just hold an angle and wait for someone to peek. But NiP over towards B bomb site in post-plant positions have been really good at not over-peeking and just giving up frags early to the CTs.
Yeah, it's definitely a really good situation for NiP right now that they've created another reset. So they've reset FaZe already 3 times. That is brutal.
I feel like on B, there's this mini situation on a retake where the CTs want to get a pick before moving into the point of no return, and NiP don't want to peek them until the CTs have moved to the point of no return. So there's a bit of a standoff there where they wait for the players to peek, and it's working out for NiP so far. FaZe going to buy around the orb that was saved by Fox in the previous round. So now we have a situation where Fox has basically the only gun in the round for the CT. So what is the play of Fox? How aggressive is he going to be? kioShiMa trying to jump up, but he's going to be fully flashed. That is probably as fully flashed as you can get. Xizt putting in nice work there, and these are dangerous weapons, but the flank coming in from Friberg is going to be really important. aizy goes down as well. Rain soon to follow. Now we have Fox going for the save already, and jkaem is going to be the Operation Human Shield, standing around in the middle area, trying to stop the advance of these players. That said, Forest, Get Right, and Friberg all heavily tagged, and I don't think the money on NiP is spectacular either, so they may have to go for a bit of a save themselves.
I don't know if we have a chance here, but it'd be cool to see the money of NiP really quickly. So yeah, the money's not perfect, but in surviving with 5 players, that is going to be massive on their economy after some of those rougher rounds, and considering that they, of course, did just reset the FaZe side, it's going to be really, really good for them. And FaZe, of course, not really going to be in the best position to get anything done. So I have to see if FaZe can do something drastic here, because so far NiP have been pretty successful in running their anti-eco strategies.
5-round lead. And again, Fox has one more round. Fox is running the gauntlet here just by being alive. It's almost like a game mode. Fox is the only man on the CTs who has an important weapon. Find Fox and kill him. Fox must survive. He had a better chance, obviously, with his team on the force to try and take the round with the AWP and be a bit more risky. But on this occasion, you can see we've got 5-man on road towards the B bomb site. And I do wonder, if NiP continue over towards A, which they likely will, and plant the bomb, I was going to say, what will FaZe try to do? Because in this situation, I think the best they can do is try to protect Fox. But they're charging straight in, so they're all going to be lambs to the slaughter here. And that's going to, considering the bomb isn't down, and FaZe are almost definitely not winning the round here, I do wonder if this is the best play. Because now, okay, so now we have Rain on the AWP, and he's running away with the AWP. And, I mean, maybe they're banking on NiP not going for the hunts. I think if, I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud here. I mean, if all the 5 players of FaZe are alive, then maybe NiP are less likely to go for the hunt because they know most of them don't have any armor or anything, so it can be more expensive. But now Rain is the only man alive, and they know he has an AWP, but then they've got all the reason to go for the hunt, and Rain's going to get taken down in isolation. So I don't know that FaZe rushing back to the A site with only USPs was the best play there when they could save the AWP for another round and well, try and protect the AWP. And you can see now they don't have money for the AWP in this round. And we've seen from the few rounds FaZe have won how important the AWP is for their side. So I really feel like they should have focused on protecting the AWP than just being lemmings over towards the A bomb site.
Yeah, I think so too, because I think it's quite unlikely that you're going to get the damage in onto the economy of NiP. I mean, it's already so good, so I don't think it's going to affect the immediacy or the immediate future. And there's not many rounds left, so there is only the immediate future from the economy standpoint. Anyway, we're going to have the quick pace here again from NiP. Hashtag change of pace, in they go. And it's going to be the fast entry from Pit there on to Fox. This is a renewed NiP we're seeing so far, looking much better today, much more confident, hitting their stride, hitting their shots, and taking the A bomb sites by storm. Fire and fury reigns upon it, and FaZe are having to scramble to get back in, and get back in is going to be pretty difficult now that the bomb is planted. There's 4 left alive. All the nades have been expended for NiP, so from that perspective, that's going to help a little bit, but still, FaZe are in a spot where it's probably much better at this point just to save the 3 guns they have. And looks like that's going to be tough here, as Rain is holding a forward position, and he's just going to go down. And this is a big problem because, again, there's only 2 more rounds left after this one. And FaZe are going to need everything that they can play with in these following rounds.
I'm surprised Rain didn't spot the shadow there from Get Right, because I feel like he had quite a jump on Get Right. Just for those of you at home who are playing CS, your global shadow quality settings, the higher you set them, the further away you can see shadows from. So if your computer can handle it, always put your shadows as high as possible. For example, if you're on long, on Dust 2, it can be enforcement for situations like that, if you're CT.
Yeah, that setting should always be on high, and everything else can be low, but that should always just be on high. You gotta have that.
Yeah.
Gotta have that.
So FaZe's going to go for the force, which means double mag 7. 1 mag 7 is flying over towards the bomb site, but where does the second one play? I mean, there are options around danger, for example. This is another option as well. Oh, the timing! I don't think he meant to fall off there, and he will get taken down. So Get Right gets traded. That AK might have fallen into place. We've got aizy with a 2-man spray, and that's huge for FaZe. They need these final 2 rounds here, and they've got a reasonable chance of doing it. kioShiMa's been spotted though, having to move away from the site now. So we'll see if NiP can recover from this.
Yeah, he's got loads of damage there on the players that did survive. So they are low as hell, but there's still a chance. Orp and AK, they're out on the site pretty much. So they have those vantage points, but the boost on the tree could be the play. It could be the play, yes it is. Forest is going to die, and the timing will suck for Friberg's peak, and Fox will take advantage, picking up the Orp there for the final round. So there is a possibility for that 5 for FaZe, but it's more likely considering the momentum of NiP that they just take the 11-4. I mean, I'm really feeling NiP right now. I mean, okay, it's the T side of Cobblestone, sure. But
it's 10-4 then.
But
you're declaring your favoritism for...
No, it's just...
your favour them in this...
Their momentum right now seems much better than it did from the emotional perspective. Like yesterday, they seemed a little bit deflated overall. And of course, they get to start on the better side. They can run their strategies. They can feel comfortable. But that's such a good spot for them to be in. To start hitting their shots. And
yeah, it's good. It's good momentum for them. Well, we'll come back to that because NiP are charging over towards the B bomb site with an execute once again, and FaZe gonna have to. Doesn't look like they are well versed in how to defend this, but kioShiMa and FAMAS will do work. Exists a trade though. Rain coming in from the back, trades straight away for both teams, leaving jkaem alone, getting shot before he even knows what's going on, down to half HP. He's one player, and he is soon to be dispatched off shortly. 3 versus 1 here. They know where he is. Flashes flying in, and Forest will finish him off. Now, what I was going to say was, I think it's good momentum in the series for NiP to start on Cobblestone, which I would say you would heavily favour them over FaZe,
yep,
despite Fox's best efforts, especially going into the following 2 maps, which will be stronger for FaZe than this one is.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, one thing yesterday to note was, I would say to some extent, you have some emotional players on the NiP side, and yesterday, Forest was. There was a map where after like 20 rounds, he was on like 5 frags, which is I don't ever see that happening to him, and that can't really happen in this stage where basically if NiP lose any of these matches, if they want to go through to the finals of Wembley, they can't afford to lose a best of 3 at this point. So they can't afford to lose maps where they have advantages, like you said, like with Cobblestone, and so they're off to a good start. But the best thing about FaZe is that I feel like FaZe actually is a pretty decent team in keeping their composure overall across the series. So I don't think it's going to affect FaZe, but it's certainly going to help NiP massively. So I think it'll really help to make a competitive match here. Move back into the next pistol round, and FaZe is jumping into connector, getting the good old drop zone split play onto the B bomb site.
That is solid that they got through to connector so far, but not solid that they all got taken down immediately. aizy running back, and this is a disaster for FaZe. This is not good at all. Fox versus 4, the flank coming in from Forest slowly but surely, and Fox is never going to be looking for it. Not yet either, and indeed Forest will pop his face. I think most of the time, the CTs, like every round on Cobblestone, the CTs are going to be putting the numbers over towards the B bomb site. when you get 2 people into connector so quickly, do you think there's ever... I mean, I feel like it's reasonable to just tell the other guys to rotate towards A, because it's going to be a lot weaker and maybe easier to control the choke points. I don't know.
Yeah, they probably just had
I'm
like
curious. Janko, remember this and tell me what you think afterwards.
Yeah, I think they probably just had a set strategy in mind, and
Rush B.
They probably didn't have within that strategy, because it was so fast, the ability to say, hang on guys, and communicate that to 5 people. I think it might have hurt the coordination too much. Maybe that's the reason, that it's just too fast and too predetermined.
I would have made the hero cooldown. I would have made it.
Well, we have just the bum rush here in towards A, and
I
I remind people, that was the first, that's 1 of 8 pistol rounds NiP have won against FaZe now.
But look at the CT's response. Look at how they're dealing with A compared to how FaZe and Mouse chose to do it. If we go back to Mouse, they played close, then they ran away, then they played on the site and just got wrecked at close range. FaZe played close and got wrecked at close range. NiP, using the range of their guns, playing from connector, playing from the site, using all the advantages they have. That said, Forest and Get Right are heavily tagged here, so while jkaem is alone and only has a pistol
and 7 bullets,
he could do some more damage here. There is still potential for jkaem to cause some havoc, and they must... Wow. Well, he's got 3 bullets now and 1 person to find. Forest, oh, he doesn't check for the last player on the sites. Those 3 bullets could have done the job there. He could have picked up an M4.
jkaem, it just... this is what I'm telling you about FaZe. This team is so fun to watch, just because every single player can just do some crazy stuff. That was beautiful, beautiful. I mean, he did so much damage with the CT, just tagging everyone with it, and then just never giving up hope there, and doing significant damage where it could have been a clean sweep otherwise. So 13-4, FaZe, get some damage in there, but they don't get the bomb plants. So we're looking at a Glock eco basically, just 1 P250 on jkaem. So this is going to be a slaughter. This is going to be a bloodbath. Let the bodies hit the floor. In the words of Brownie Bolt.
CTs are in trouble because the flank is coming in. Fox takes on Forest. Friberg seems to go as well. Get Right at maximum range of a Mag 7. kioShiMa offers himself a sacrifice. Rain with that M4 is key here. We've got double Mag 7, M4 retake here. This is a disaster. Pit needs to get close as soon as possible.
What the hell is happening right now? This is insane. They're doing so much damage. They might just win the round here. Get Right stuck on a Mag 7. He's going to be able to swap that finally for an M4. And now he's got the 1 versus 2. They don't have any Kevlar, so he can just find the first engagement here. Any 1 versus 1, he's so favorable just because of the Kevlar factor, but he's got to find those engagements, and this is being played smart here by FaZe. As expected, you got Rain and you got Fox in there. And how do they do this? 4 Glocks and a P250. How do NiP lose that? And now their economy is crushed. That should have been a guaranteed round. They didn't have any nades, James. They had literally nothing but a P250 and 4 stock pistols. Glocks on Cobblestone.
That was... I didn't even... It was all a blur.
That is tilting.
It was all a blur. And NiP don't have a buy. They have no buy. They have no buy, Dan. They've got 2 deagles, 3 deagles, because 2+1 is 3, and 2 P250s, and the flashbang onto Get Right. So we see NiP have boosted a player in A long as well, and I wonder if... I'm hoping we get the comparison now, and we can see FaZe move through A long and see if they have a similar approach to that of NiP, where the first player crouched underneath the angle. Passive hold outside long. For the time being, Rain looking to entry here, spots a little dome, which is the cranium of Xizt, and this moves away. Minute 10 on the clock here for FaZe to begin the proceedings. No real indication as to where the numbers are stacked for NiP. Goodbye, Rain.
It was nice knowing you, Rain. It was nice knowing you.
He once had a handsome face, Dan.
There will be no singing.
He is now disfigured.
For Rain. So we have Xizt trying to get the next kill here. He might just do so, yes. Just some torso shots there. The meat shots in. And are NiP going to do this straight back to FaZe? Nice little grenade there to punish the weak Xizt being stuck in that position. And the bomb is down. So from this position, it should be so hard for NiP to do anything. Honestly, though, there is some argument to actually going for it, but there's also, I think, an argument for Get Right at least, just not going to do anything. But the rest of his teammates, they can easily sack themselves because they didn't really invest very much in this round, and any additional damage that they do is actually highly cost effective, just again due to their very low investment versus their opponent's full investment.
Oh, look at this containment from the CTs. They know the FaZe economy is not fantastic, and it seems GetRight's investing. I think he's baiting his teammate. Well, they're all dead now, so maybe GetRight goes for the save. But yeah, there's definitely value in trying to clear out some of these Ts. And there we go, one surviving.
Wow.
A few of them have 7 to 8k, so that is going to be 4k plus to spend on both these players, close to 5 in fact, to get the buyback in.
That's enormous damage, isn't it? I mean, that makes a big difference. I mean, FaZe don't have many chances now. They can't really afford to lose any rounds, just generally anyway, but now their ability to even drop for each other if they do die and get a streak going is limited. Maybe they'll have less nades now because of that as well. So big damage done by NiP. Can they get more damage here? GetRight's got some Kevlar to back up his AK now. And GetRight's going to take down Rain. aizy taking 50% damage there. So things not looking too easy here for FaZe. It's not smooth, James.
kioShiMa's had his bell rung, and he will take a back seat while his teammates go to push the site. They don't have any nades, any Molotovs, any HGs to try and force the CTs from their position on the site itself. GetRight running distraction now while his team are on site. Pit goes down. We see a number of red plays here for the Ts, and there still exists and GetRight's alive. GetRight's got Kevlar to go with this AK. He's got 3 people to find. Gets the first 1 versus Vox, but he can't kill him. Can't take him down. Looking for the trade fragger. Sees 1, but no more damage will be done here by the NiP side. So FaZe move within 6 rounds of the Swedish team, who will be back on the max spy now with many players above $5,000.
Yeah, NiP did quite well there to get all the damage in that they did. I mean, obviously, there was even potential for GetRight to get 2 kills, extra kills there at least. Either way, it's the 13-7. FaZe have given themselves an opportunity here. And it's going to be cool now because we see Fox back on the AWP. And he's looking for that initial aggression. Although, NiP are playing a pretty passive setup towards A. I mean, you know, Forest just going forwards initially just to get a little bit of info if there was to be any, but falling back quite quickly. NiP giving up a lot of space towards A, and I do wonder how FaZe will interpret this round. Because right now they just have 1 guy towards B, they've got loads of players towards A long, so it looks like they're going to go for the A take. And again, very passive setup here. Friberg is in that really cool position though, with, does he have the silenced M4? No, he doesn't. It's nice when you have a silenced M4 there, because, you know, just people not, you know, they won't immediately look at that spot basically. And also if people are rapping from a long, they're not going to hear you in that spot either if you're shooting at their teammates down middle. So it's going to be fun to see how much damage that can be done from Friberg with that M4.
Yeah, it's quite a funky setup. Almost a double peak from these 2 CTs. So we'll see the FaZe team committing to the A bomb site now. Despite not having somebody deep towards B on plateau like we saw from FaZe in the previous half, NiP seem to have a read on the situation. They seem to have a note on some of the tendencies here from FaZe. Friberg completely blind, and he is going to get taken down. Trace of both sides though, but it's going to be with the FaZe team having an advantage. And that pit's going to be squashed between Fox and a player on the site as well. aizy planting the bomb now, and indeed Fox is covering the angle. He's just waiting for Pit to arrive. Pit going for the crab walk, but he will be put in the pot, leaving Xizt versus 2. He's got a kit, and I think he's definitely going for this. He's got lots of time in the bag. The question is, how does he avoid Fox? Well, that's a good start. Not sure if Fox even saw him there. Going for the second peak is Xizt, but 2 peaks will be quite enough for Fox to take you down.
So 8 rounds of FaZe now. They are getting closer and closer still. And let's not forget that NiP could already have won this map had they not lost to 4 Glocks and a PT50. I just want to really, you know, cement that fact. They lost to 4 Glocks and a PT50. That surely must be an anomaly that happens. I mean, that's just insane. So anyway, NiP back to a save round. And they're going to need some more 1Ds here out of Xizt and Forest to keep that pressure up, but FaZe playing passively to kick things off here. So far, so good for FaZe. Although I say that, only 20 seconds have passed. And we can see them slowly making their way into middle, as well as having all of B plateau now too. You got Rain there. And Rain's position is very telling of how this round can go, depending on how aggressive he wants to be, of course. Because Xizt is in that position. It's very dangerous, but Rain's going to get him. And now he's going to be able to spot for all the very sneaky positions. And he's claimed the bomb site. They know that it's safe now. And they have successfully avoided the pistols, and there shouldn't be anything NiP can do now.
jkaem's got a good position for anti-containment as well. We saw NiP go for containment on previous rounds and get right. Had a nice clean up towards the end, but jkaem's already got an advanced position in that respect, so that gives FaZe more of an exit strategy. That said, they don't need to even exit the bomb site from where the bomb is planted. They can just stand on plateau and they will survive. It will cost them a fair chunk of armor, but at least they will be safe, relatively speaking. But instead they will choose violence as their path of exits. And it seems to be going well so far. So FaZe continue to close the gap here, and are you getting concerned for NiP at Dan? Because obviously this is a map we expect them to win every time in this particular matchup.
I mean, they have many chances left still, so I don't think they themselves have much concern in this position. Sure, FaZe are getting some momentum back, but again, NiP, they have a lot of chances left. They only need at least a couple rounds to secure an overtime, and they'll probably feel favored in the overtime as well. And FaZe, they need to win still 6 in a row to get to that spot. 7 if they want to just outright win the map. So lots of buys left for NiP, so not much to sweat about just yet. Although this is a good showing out of FaZe, and it looks like we'll get a bit of a mix-up here on the setup. We've got pyth getting boosted up onto plateau, and get the smoke off there as well. And it's always very dangerous. It can be quite gambly sometimes when you do stuff like this, just because what if this round Fox is there, and then it's the battle between pyth and Fox. But I would expect Fox probably to win that situation most of the time, as he can get to the angle a little bit faster, but you never know. Either way, that's not going to happen. So a bit of a passive round now that we just see that the initial aggressions, although lights, don't really work out for either team.
I don't know that I ever saw pyth AWP before he joined NiP, but the fact he's AWPing allows Forest to be Forest as well, which is fantastic for NiP. And then we've seen Get Right and Forest going bananas in many matches.
I used to see him AWPing a lot in his Pug days, and that's when I realised, that pyth is pretty godlike with every gun, basically.
Look at NiP on the radar. It's almost like the pulse, their fingers on the pulse, and the pulse is leading towards the B bomb site, but they're not willing to commit all the way just yet. The rotation is starting to come in yet more, and here comes the execute from FaZe. 25 seconds left on the clock now, and they are still well within the choke point here. Get Right closer to Mag 7, and this is going to be very telegraphed and painful for FaZe. Surely heavily painful. pyth coming in to cover the angle for Get Right, getting a nice maiming in there. Friberg and pyth cleaning up now. FaZe have just left it too late, and they've made themselves very readable, and they're going to lose by timeout because Fox is on the run.
And that's the dangerous thing there. When you see there's 25 seconds left and FaZe are in the oh crap mode, got to go for the panicked rush, and you see that Get Right's there with the Mag 7, then you kind of feel like NiP are winning that round, because when there's a Mag 7 and a team has to just rush and they can't carefully clear it, and it's in the hands of somebody as good as Get Right, who plays that position very well, then
if it's in anyone's hands, then
it's so hard to deal with, man. It's so hard to deal with.
You need to have a set Molotov, like you have one for the tree position. You need to have one that goes behind the crack in the wall, so they have no angle to hold on you. Otherwise, you are going to eat Mag 7.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to claim 1 or 2 frags very commonly there with no due diligence, and they didn't leave themselves time enough for the due diligence. So it's to be expected. And this is something we've seen happen to Mousesports as well, a team that shares some similarities in some respects to FaZe. Although generally a team with more structure, we do see them sometimes leave things way too late as well. Oh, Get Right, I think he got that tag onto aizy. I think he got a dink there onto aizy at range.
Chunks.
Yeah, it looks like that's the case. And I do like how NiP are not holding inside of drop zone. I always feel like that's very risky. And once you lose drop early, it's very hard as the CTs, if against a good T side, with good calling. And looks like FaZe are about to explode onto B.
Perhaps with more time on the clock. Curious to see how much this smoke will slow them down. And they're choosing to take this opportunity to advance. But surely there's a flash coming in for Xizt. Never mind, at the Mag 7. Fox creeping through the smoke and taking down Xizt. That is a very unlikely frag, but is it going to be enough for FaZe to take this round? pyth looking to move on to 15. 2 nice frags by him. Down to 2 versus 2 now. Friberg using the rock to save him there. Fox down 6 HP. You can't wallbang that rock. So he needs to get these players out in the open. But he's only got 15 seconds left to plant the bomb. He is carrying the bomb. But surely if he goes to plant it here, he's going to get shot through the smoke. Running out of bullets with Friberg. But the nades will finish things off. Unceremonious finish to that round. 15 rounds for NiP.
That's a little no-scope from Pit is so satisfying. Those like to watch.
It's really smart as well, because the natural reaction for an AWP after taking any shot is to press Q and switch to your pistol. But if you don't press Q, then you can use the time while you're unscoped to move as if you QQ'd, but you can shoot faster than if you go for the quick change, basically. So that's a key element to getting that second frag there. It allows him to adjust and shoot as fast as possible. It actually becomes a bad habit when you draw your gun, your pistol after every AWP shot, because it makes it harder for you to find that second shot, although you have mobility a little bit faster.
And the crosshair for a split second from the pistol.
You get a crosshair, yeah, but any AWP worth their salt doesn't need a crosshair down.
Yeah, you got tape on the screen, that's why, James.
I was accused of that in 1.6 and when I did play Source for fun.
Tape on the screen. Here we go. We have a nice defense coming in, but it is perhaps short-lived as Fox is able to take the trade back there. So it will be the 3 versus 3. Fox is able to take down Get Right as well. So doing great work here for his team in this round. Trying to stave NiP off of that quick 16-9. Here goes Xizt though, starting to make his way with Pit onto the bomb site. But Fox is still lurking. He's dangerous, man. And there it is. Third frag from Fox. And back in with the molly. There's nothing much that Xizt feels like he can do. And I think he'd be right to go for the save as he is. So another round for FaZe as they take it to 10. But you can really see that it's such a struggle to stay in this game for FaZe. You know, NiP had such a good first half. And, you know, they've been able to slowly but surely just... I somewhat comfortably get themselves to 15 rounds. I mean, FaZe still need to get a bunch more to tie this, 5 more to tie this, so that's going to take a while for them to do that. Yeah,
but if FaZe, well, I'm curious as to what NiP will do. Their money is in a difficult situation where they've got minimum loss bonus as well, 1,400. Xizt saving this AWP means that everybody has some money to buy, but as you can see, like Pits, Get Right, 3,800, 3,400. So, I mean, it's reasonable that NiP go for the save here, because I know they don't like to have ropey buys. And indeed, they will do exactly that. They'll just save the money, go for a big buy on the next round. They only need to win 1 from the next 5, so they're not going to put themselves at a disadvantage. And at this point, the AWP will be a bonus. Although Xizt is kind of lagging behind his teammates in the economy. We'll see if he can rack up some kills. He's gone full armor, as has Friberg with the Deagle. And the execute is coming in from FaZe. Looks a bit familiar.
Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of frags here from NiP, and despite having the weapon disadvantage, they are getting the frags regardless. So, looking pretty desperate here. aizy in a 1 versus 3 by drop zone. It's hard to first just get out of the choke point. He's going to try to get himself a flash out there, but Xizt is close with the AWP. And it's Xizt to finish it, and 16-10 will be the score. Generally, NiP with that really strong first half. I mean, they lost the first pistol, but then they won the 4 spy straight away, and that's always going to be an insanely strong spot for a team like NiP to play from. And they did rack up a lot of rounds, and it just seemed like a struggle for FaZe after that point. So we've got Janko back on desk. There were some struggles for NiP. Janko, 4 Glocks and a PT50, apparently enough to win a round for FaZe.
Especially on a map like Cobblestone. Yeah. Why not? One of the longest ranged maps we have in the game. But, well, what was obvious there was that NiP was caught in no man's land, right? They were maybe wanting to go towards A holes, but then they saw people running up mid, so turning around both sides, and both players just missed their sprays. And at that point, they just died and gave up control of the bomb site. And the players on the retake from NiP, 2 of them had mag 7s. So it was really, really hard for them to get a successful retake, even with FaZe players not having armor.
And without that victory, maybe we would have seen actually much quicker game. Quicker game.
Perhaps we would have done.
Indeed. Well, I mean, is there much more to add, really, Janko, as far as post-match analysis is concerned? Because
I mean, it was a good example of why NiP is so strong right now. You could see on their T side they have a plethora of tactics, and they use them really well in consecutive rounds. But what I mean there is, you could see that they have an obvious game plan, right? They go for a slow B execute, then a slow A execute, then they switch things up with a fast push towards A on mid. So the point is, you can know what they are able to do, but you don't know when are they going to do any of their strats, right? That's why it's so hard to read them, and it's hard to adapt, especially on a map like Cobblestone. Usually I would say where maybe the CTs should have been more aggressive or gone for map control here. That's not really something that's viable on Cobble. What you can do, one of the things you can do is go for more risks, right? More gambles. Try and stack A bomb side with 3 people, play it passively towards B, and then play for the retake. But then again, it takes you a long time to rotate from one side to the other. So it can be, that's why the map is T-sided in the end of things.
On a subject of risks, there was a round where FaZe were on the CT side, and they had basically a full eco with a save drop from the previous round, and they stacked the B bomb site, and NiP went towards A. And I thought they should have tried to put the 4 players with just USPs in positions to try and hold the choke points into B to protect the AWPer to be safe for the next round, whereas they just literally ran and just straight into A and died. What was your opinion on that?
I think it just shows yet again that the players are not as disciplined. I mean, the thing is, that is the optimal play. That is the optimal play. Just save, protect the AWPer. If he already saved, why would you leave him to be hunted and make it more difficult for him to have that top in the next round as well? Maybe he can drop a rifle for some of the players that have a low economy, right? But in the end, it's just players are on an eco round. They don't really think about it, right? They want to go and try and grab a kill and grab a rifle, and that's why you should have, that's where the coach comes in, or maybe someone from the team even, and says, guys, like, just stay here. They're probably gonna, they're maybe gonna try and hunt, we don't know. So maybe that's how you can get kills, and the most valuable play we can make is save our op into the following round, basically. So I agree, it wasn't the optimal play, but I'm not surprised by it, because that's what we see from the majority of teams, right? And I think that's going to be the main thing that we're going to see changing shortly. I mean, because teams are going to realize, I believe, that you need to gain the slightest edge wherever it's possible.
Efficiency.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, James.
I mean, I was waiting for a long time, because I think 2015 was the year of me whining about teams all teams messing up anti-force buys and anti-ecos, and we're starting to get there now. I mean, the progress is slow but certain, and it does seem like there is a lack of a strong voice that could be filled by a coach, as we're seeing that it's not being filled by a player right now. And that's why they do actually remind me of Mousesports a little bit, because I feel like Mousesports is a team which has amazing individual skill and potential. They have a huge degree of potential, but it feels like they just need a strong voice which is going to help them to make the right calls in some of these rounds. So, well, we have map 2 coming up shortly, ladies and gents, but first, I have to remind you about the tickets that are on sale at wembley.csgoleague.com. For as little as $12.99, you can grab yourself some tickets for both days on the June 25th and 26th for the finals of the ECS, which is what these teams are playing for right now, those extra spots. Already there are 2 teams guaranteed qualified. We have G2 and we have Astralis, and we are trying to work out who's going to join them. But we'll take a break. We'll come back with Cash, and it should be a good one. Don't miss it. Mirage.